Picture this: the salty spray of the Mediterranean, the deck of a Roman trireme creaking beneath your feet, and the distant horizon filled with the promise of freedom. This is the story of Spartacus, but told from a perspective often overlooked. Not just a rebel on land, but a man whose war for freedom touched the sea as well. Spartacus. The name alone conjures images of gladiators in the arena, clashing swords, and the roar of an enslaved army rising against the might of Rome. But what most don't realize is that the fate of this legendary rebellion wasn't just decided on the battlefield, it was shaped by the sea. In 73 BC, Spartacus and his fellow gladiators staged one of the most daring escapes in history. Trapped in the brutal conditions of a gladiator school in Capua, he and about 70 others broke free, using kitchen utensils and whatever weapons they could find. They overpowered their guards, stole real weapons, and fled to Mount Vesuvius, where they began their rebellion. From this humble beginning, Spartacus would go on to lead an army of tens of thousands of former slaves and rebels against the Roman Republic. By 72 BC, Spartacus and his rebel army had carved a path of destruction through Italy. Rome had thrown legions at them, and yet, time and time again, the rebels emerged victorious. Spartacus proved to be an exceptional military strategist, defeating Roman generals and adapting his forces into a disciplined and formidable army. But Spartacus had a vision greater than mere defiance. He didn't just want to fight, he wanted to escape. His eyes turned south, to the coast, to Sicily. If his forces could cross the narrow Strait of Messina, they could spark an even greater revolt among the island's enslaved population and find refuge beyond Rome's reach. Spartacus struck a deal with a group of Cilician pirates, famed for their seamanship, their ruthlessness, and their ability to outmaneuver Rome's navy. The plan was simple. The pirates would ferry his forces across to Sicily, where the rebellion could grow and Rome would struggle to follow. But at the crucial moment, the pirates betrayed him. Whether they were bribed by Rome, feared the consequences, or simply never intended to help, history doesn't say. What we do know is that Spartacus and his forces were left stranded on the Italian mainland, their last hope of escaping Rome slipping beneath the waves. Imagine the scene. Thousands of Spartacus men standing on the cliffs, staring out at the empty sea where their promised escape had vanished. No sails on the horizon, no ships to take them to safety. Just the endless expanse of water, a cruel reminder of how close they had come to freedom. Denied the sea, Spartacus had no choice but to march north, hoping to break through the Roman lines and reach the Alps. He believed that if his men could cross the mountains, they could disperse back to their homelands and live free. But by now, Rome had learned from its mistakes. They surrounded him. They cut off supplies. And in 71 BC, the final battle was fought. Spartacus and his men fought to the last, knowing there would be no mercy, no escape. His body was never found, and his ultimate fate remains a mystery. What if the pirates had kept their word? What if Spartacus had crossed the sea and ignited another rebellion in Sicily? Would Rome have been able to contain the fires of revolution? The answers are lost to history, but one thing remains certain. Spartacus's fight was not just a battle against Rome, but a battle against fate itself. Even in defeat, his story lived on. Rome crucified over 6,000 of his followers along the Appian Way, a brutal warning to any who might think of rebellion. But they could never crucify the idea that Spartacus represented. The idea that freedom is worth fighting for. The idea that even the greatest empire in the world could tremble before those who refuse to be chained. So, when we think of Spartacus, we should remember not just the battles fought in the dust of the arena or the fields of Italy, but the battle fought on the shores, the desperate hope pinned to the sea, and the dream that nearly sailed away.